I'm going to show you how to build the scientifically perfect salad for the best blood sugar you've seen in your entire life. It's just 4 simple ingredients, plus a dressing that doesn't just taste incredible, it actively lowers blood sugar while you eat it. And here's the best part. Every single ingredient in this bowl is backed by real research showing measurable improvements in insulin sensitivity, fasting glucose, or A1C. This isn't food that's just not bad for you. This is food that is doing something every single bite. I'll show you exactly how to build it, explain the science behind each ingredient, and by the end, you'll have a salad you can make in 10 minutes that your body is going to thank you for. If you want our free guide to put this into action with more meal examples, recipes, and a step-by-step plan, comment guide below. You can also head to masteringdiabetes.org to read real case studies from people who restored insulin sensitivity and transformed their numbers. This is all completely free. Just comment guide below. Now, let's build this bowl, the foundation. Before we add a single ingredient, you need to understand one thing. When it comes to blood sugar, everything starts with insulin sensitivity. Insulin sensitivity is how easily your cells can absorb glucose from your bloodstream. Think of insulin as a key. Your muscle and liver cells are the locks. When those cells are clean and healthy, the key turns easily. Glucose flows in, gets used for energy, and your blood sugar comes back down quickly. But when excess fat accumulates inside those cells, the lock gets jammed. Insulin shows up, it tries to turn the key, but the signal doesn't go through. So glucose stays in the bloodstream, your blood sugar stays high, and your pancreas keeps pumping out more and more insulin, trying to fix a problem it can't reach. That's insulin resistance, and it's the root cause of type 2 diabetes for most people. The goal isn't to avoid carbohydrates. The goal is to clean those locks so carbohydrates can go where they're supposed to go. That's exactly what this salad does. Every single ingredient targets a different part of that process, and together they create a meal that isn't just blood sugar friendly, it's blood sugar healing. Step 1, the peppery base, arugula. Start with 5 big cups of arugula. That might sound like a lot. It's not. Arugula compresses fast, and this is where you set the foundation for everything else. Arugula is loaded with water, fiber, and natural nitrates, compounds that help open up your blood vessels, improving blood flow and oxygen delivery to your cells. Better blood flow means insulin can reach its targets faster and work more effectively. But here's the part that really matters for blood sugar. Fiber eaten at the start of a meal acts as a physical buffer. It slows down how quickly glucose from other foods enters your bloodstream. Think of it like putting a speed bump between your food and your bloodstream. The same meal, eaten with a fiber-rich base first, produces a flatter, gentler glucose curve. A meta-analysis published in the British Medical Journal found that eating just 1.5 extra servings of leafy greens per day reduced the risk of developing type 2 diabetes by 14%. So don't skip the greens and don't use just a little. The whole point of starting with arugula is to create the slowest, most controlled glucose environment possible for everything that comes after it. More greens, flatter spike every time. Step 2, the insulin rebuilder, quinoa. Now add your cooked, cooled quinoa. And yes, I said cooled. We'll come back to why that matters. But first, the bigger picture. Quinoa is not your average grain. It's technically a seed, and it behaves completely differently in your body than processed carbohydrates do. The glycemic index of quinoa is 53. White rice is 69. White bread is around 70. That difference is not small. It means quinoa releases glucose into your blood more slowly, more steadily, and without the sharp spike that refined grains produce. It gives your insulin a chance to keep up. But the research goes well beyond GI scores. A randomized parallel clinical trial published in Frontiers in Physiology followed people with impaired glucose tolerance for 1 full year. The group that replaced a portion of their daily staple foods with quinoa had significantly lower 2-hour postprandial glucose, lower HOMA-IR, which is a direct measure of insulin resistance, and lower A1C by the end of the study. The conversion rate to full type 2 diabetes in the quinoa group was 7.8%. In the control group, it was 20.3%. Let that land for a second. A simple swap, quinoa instead of their usual refined starch, cut the risk of progressing to diabetes by more than half. Now, here's the cooling tip. When you cook quinoa and then let it cool in the fridge overnight or even just at room temperature, something called resistant starch forms. Resistant starch acts like fiber. It feeds beneficial gut bacteria, slows glucose absorption, and further improves insulin sensitivity sensitivity. So if you're making this salad ahead of time, you're actually getting a better meal. Leftovers are a biohack. Step 3, the polyphenol powerhouse, strawberries. Now, add 1 cup of chopped fresh strawberries. I know what you might be thinking. Fruit raises my blood sugar. I'm not supposed to eat sweet things. If strawberries are spiking you right now, it's not the strawberries causing the problem. They're revealing it. The underlying issue is insulin resistance. The fruit is just showing you the traffic jam that's already there. Here's the science. A randomized, controlled crossover trial published in the Journal of Nutrition tested the effects of daily strawberry consumption in adults with prediabetes over 28 weeks. Compared to the control group, the strawberry period significantly improved serum insulin, insulin resistance, fasting glucose, and glycated hemoglobin, all key markers of metabolic health. How do strawberries do this? 2 words: polyphenols and fiber. Strawberries are packed with anthocyanins, the pigments that give them their deep red color, and those compounds directly improve how your cells respond to insulin. They reduce oxidative stress, lower inflammation, and improve the cellular environment that insulin signaling depends on. Think of it this way. If insulin resistance is a jammed lock, anthocyanins are the lubricant. They don't force the key, they help the mechanism work the way it was designed to. And the fiber in whole strawberries slows glucose entry from every other food in the meal. So you're not just getting the strawberry's own gentle glucose, you're getting a buffer for the whole bowl. That's not a food to fear. That's a food that works. Step 4, the crunch and the minerals. Sunflower seeds. Now sprinkle on about 1.5 teaspoons of sunflower seeds. This is your texture, your crunch, and your micronutrient delivery system. Sunflower seeds are rich in magnesium, vitamin E, and selenium, 3 nutrients that directly support insulin signaling, antioxidant defense, and glucose metabolism. Low magnesium is one of the most common deficiencies in people with type 2 diabetes, and restoring it has been shown in clinical trials to improve fasting blood glucose and HOMA-IR scores. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant that protects your cell membranes from oxidative damage, the kind that accumulates with chronic high blood sugar and makes insulin resistance worse over time. And here's the key thing about seeds in general. Keep the portion small. 1.5 teaspoons gives you the minerals, the crunch, and the satisfaction without adding so much fat that it starts interfering with insulin signaling. This is a salad built to improve carbohydrate tolerance, not to be a high-fat meal wearing healthy clothes. A small handful of sunflower seeds is exactly what this bowl needs. No more, no less. The blood sugar lowering dressing. Now, let's make it taste extraordinary with a dressing that is doing real metabolic work. Here's what goes in it. 1 teaspoon of tahini, 1 tablespoon of date syrup, 1/4 cup of fresh lemon juice, and 1 tablespoon of warm water. Whisk it all together until smooth and creamy. That's it. Now, let's break down what's actually happening in this dressing. Tahini is made from ground sesame seeds, and sesame is not just flavor. A systematic review and meta-analysis of controlled clinical trials found that sesame products significantly reduced fasting blood glucose and A1C compared to control groups. The active compounds in sesame, including sesamin and sesamol, improve insulin function, reduce oxidative stress, and have direct anti-inflammatory effects on the metabolic system. Lemon juice is where things get really interesting. A randomized crossover trial published in the European Journal of Nutrition tested lemon juice against water alongside a carbohydrate meal. Lemon juice lowered the peak blood glucose rise by 30% and delayed the glucose peak by more than 35 minutes. 30% from lemon juice. The mechanism is elegant. The citric acid in lemon juice slows starch digestion by interfering with the enzyme that breaks starch into glucose. Less glucose hits your bloodstream at once, your insulin has time to respond, the spike flattens. Date syrup provides a small amount of natural sweetness with a lower glycemic impact than refined sugar, along with polyphenols and minerals that support metabolic function. A little goes a long way, and it makes this dressing taste like something you'd find at a restaurant, not at a doctor's office. This dressing isn't an afterthought. It's the finishing touch that makes this entire meal work better. Now let's put it all together. In a large mixing bowl, whisk together your tahini, date syrup, lemon juice, and warm water. Add your 5 cups of arugula and toss until every leaf is coated. Fold in your cooled quinoa, your sunflower seeds, and your chopped strawberries. Transfer to a bowl, serve immediately. That's it. 4 ingredients, 1 dressing, 10 minutes. And you now have the scientific scientifically perfect salad for reversing insulin resistance. Here's what's happening in your body when you eat this. Your arugula slows glucose entry, creating a fiber buffer before the first carbohydrate even reaches your bloodstream. Your quinoa delivers steady, low glycemic fuel while actively improving your insulin resistance markers like HOMA-IR over time. Your strawberries flood your system with anthocyanins that improve cellular insulin signaling, reduce oxidative stress, and flatten your glucose curve from the inside out. Your sunflower seeds supply the magnesium, vitamin E, and selenium your insulin receptors depend on to function correctly. And your lemon tahini dressing cuts the blood glucose peak by up to 30% while delivering sesame compounds that directly improve fasting blood sugar and A1C. This is food as chemistry, food as medicine, food that earns its place in your body. Here's the challenge. Try this salad for lunch 3 days in a row. Check your glucose before eating, 1 hour after, and 2 hours after. You'll likely see your post-meal peaks shrinking, your return to baseline getting faster, your energy lasting longer in the hours that follow. That's what improving insulin sensitivity feels like in real time. And over time, as you keep eating this way, something bigger happens. Your cells become more carbohydrate tolerant. The same foods that used to spike you start to land more gently. You need less insulin to handle the same meal. Your fasting numbers trend down. Your A1C improves. That's not luck. That's not willpower. That's biology changing because you gave it the right environment to change. If you want help building more meals like this, complete with recipes, a step-by-step food plan, and real case studies from people who reversed insulin resistance eating this way, comment guide below. And also head to masteringdiabetes.org and read the stories from people who were where you are and got to where you want to be. If this video helped you, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear that fruit is not the enemy. Until next time, keep those carbs high and that A1C low.